Hey everybody, welcome. It's Trackmania, Track of the Day, the Elatis. We're back 2 days in a row. Putting one tire in front of the other and keeping some momentum here. I have it on good authority, according to the Discord. Today, do not try to get the author unless you are big brain 5-head, which I think means you're dumb. Maybe I got it backwards, but clearly the new update is helping out the lag time when it comes to fetching data from the servers, as you can see. Today, people are saying the gold medal, just pretend it's green. I can at least look up some of the data here while it's loading. It's called Outsider by Roxy TM. Gold is 43, author is 40. Discord reviews for this track are very strong. There is a mode at 10, which is awesome. The most common vote is 10. Second most common is 8. Everything else is like pretty well balanced between 1 to 7 and then also 9. So as Outsider, and it's good to set your expectations. Unless we find ourselves very, very, very in love with this track, don't worry about the author, Just worry about having a good time. Grind for the gold as if it's an author, and how I'd learn to stop worrying and love the track. GPS must be to the right. No? Alright. GPS must be backwards. It did. Oh, GPS in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So blurry, dude. Apparently it's like a borderless windowed thing. Let's just watch this. Okay. Oh, a little slide on the downhill. That's crazy town. I will say as well, I'm using my PS4 controller. After we went on the NLSS yesterday, my controller was freaking out during golf, so I'm using my DualShock 4 now. I don't know. The fact that I got the author medal yesterday with a half-busted controller should tell you that this track looks tough, dude. Should tell you that the author medal was extremely easy yesterday. Oh my god. This seems hard. Let me also, this might screw up the capture, but let me change my settings here. Windowed borderless. Full screen is just I hope it'll still capture. It still appears to be it's still blurry. Maybe we touched the wall there? I don't know. That's when you got to throw a slide in there. This track seems absurd. Like absurdly difficult. I predict a lot of smashing into the wall, but you know what? We can at least get a little bit of practice. This seems like the sort of... Okay, well, that's not going to help us out too much. This seems like the sort of track that is honestly like heavy try-hard energy. And I don't mean that in a negative way necessarily, but the like mid-descend slides here have indicated to me that this is a track that is for seasoned Trackmania veterans, and North Americans need not apply. You know what? We're still in potential silver territory here. Especially because the person that got silver, the silver ghost as it were, appears to also slam into the wall quite frequently. So yep, okay, I'll take what I can get on this one. I feel like I'm driving in like a San Francisco level from an N64 video game. It's just non-stop hills. Like, I know that's what San Francisco's like in real life too, having driven there. By the way, big ups. I know San Francisco's like a divisive city. Even people that live in San Francisco are like, yeah, it's great, but it was better before. Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't know. However, big ups if you cycle in San Francisco. You must have like the heart of a professional athlete. Some of those inclines are like actually ridiculous, especially if you had to like stop at a traffic light on the way up and then restart. I don't know how you do it. I quite honestly, I don't know how you would do it. I know you're like, it's very simple. Just do what San Francisco cyclists do and don't stop at a stoplight. That speed check's gonna crush me. Okay. I mean, it's hard. Let's be honest. This is not an easy track hither to this moment. You know what? It's certainly tickling the Trackmania ivories. It's requiring more than I'm used to. You know what? We should keep this one rolling. We should keep this one rolling. The only obstacle that I want to like yeet myself on if I don't make it is the speed check, because we're not gonna make it anyway. Okay, probably should have touched the brakes there. I mean, this is one you're just gonna have to commit it to muscle memory. Like, this is a mess. This is a disaster for the time being. I'm not saying the track is a mess. I'm saying my particular driving of it is just disastrous. We might make it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have crossed. Okay, really? You're gonna hit me with 3 pillars at the end just as an FU? Is real life not hard enough for you? Like, you got 2020's been too easy. You're like, you know what I need? This truly nightmarish course. And that's not me saying I dislike it. You can like some nightmares the same way you like some horror movies, right? I'm just reserving judgment for the time being, because I can't finish the freaking course. Alright. So that, to take that optimally, we got a long way to go. I think it's very clear. Not hitting the wall there at least feels nice, even if we also slowed down way more than was necessary. There you go. Better braking, better ingredients. Papa John's. You know we're going to have to work on our slide ability here. Like, this is really good, but it's because we're driving like a Trackmania coward, you know what I mean? That's not a horrible silver. I mean, dude, I'll change opponents. Give me opponents from BC here, and let's try to work our way up the ladder a little bit faster. Like, dude, we're already ahead of Socks. That should tell you. A lot of people playing this track, even you know, regulars, were like, I think I'm moving on today. But I don't think it's due to the track being like a meme. I think it's due to the track actually just having like a pretty high degree of difficulty. Like, this is... It seems like a track that, apart from the speed check, actually isn't really that hard to finish. But is really hard to not yeet yourself into the wall at many opportunities. It's alright, you just gotta memorize. You just gotta memorize it. Or at least, you know, memorize is probably not the word I'm looking for. Just get accustomed to it, you know? It's gonna be a bit of a slower track, especially at the level we're playing at right now. It's gonna be a bit of a slower track, and we're gonna be much more concerned with safe driving than with, like, literally anything else. Not touching the wall is by far the most important thing for us. Even if we're not getting in perfectly, you know, set up power slides or what have you. Just being able to drive safely is, I mean, this almost feels like more... If you ignore the huge gap in the road, it feels, to me right now, to be more like a traditional racing game. By which I mean you're actually, like, laying off the throttle at times. And, you know, sometimes you're just using, like, throttle plus brake into the corners and stuff like that. I don't know if we're maybe just speaking from a position of ignorance here. This is one where I think, you know, I would be pretty proud of myself to get the gold on this one. We seem to be doing okay here, but keep in mind, none of these ghosts are actually, now that I look at it, even close to the gold. That's alright, well, you know. I tend to do the best at Trackmania when I treat it like a series of cohorts. And you get to the top of each cohort, and then, you know, before you know it, you're the greatest gamer in the world. We touched the wall, and we're like a sixth of a second ahead. Should go to show you how solid my first attempt was. Okay, coming out of there feeling just fine. Okay, you're okay, you're okay. Good acceleration out of the apex here. Look at that, pretty solid. Again, lots of work to be done. That's very slow. Lots of work to be done on maintaining speed. There you go. Always want to be on the other side of that. Hey, we still beat our time. Keep working your way up the list here. Sorry, Socks. It was nice to meet you today. I honestly, this track right now, at least at our current level, has heavy, like, many PB energy. Which is satisfying, you know? To be able to set PBs quickly feels nice. And I think our laps, I mean, it's really just kind of like a nice way of saying, like, our lap is very imperfect right now, so it's not going to be difficult for us to continually make some improvements to it. Okay. But it could be worse, you know? Sometimes it's more frustrating to have those tracks that, like, are very easy, so actually getting your next, like, your future PBs is kind of tough. But I'm starting to like it a little bit. At first I was very frustrated. I was petrified, thinking how could I get the gold medal in a reasonable time. Look, I'd and time don't necessarily rhyme. They, you know, there's an intended rhyme. An implied rhyme, if you will. Yeah, I know. Every time I die in a bad way, I make the face that Jack Nicholson makes at the end of The Shining. Yo, Jack Nicholson, though. What a golfer. Jack Nicholson meets Phil Mickelson. Meets Jack Nicklaus, who's the actual golfer. I don't know. Jack Nicholson strikes me as the kind of guy who could be good at golf. I don't really have a joke, you know. Oh, you know, I could see him taking a shining to it. Oh, Mr. Nicholson, sorry, your party was here earlier, but now they've departed. You know, the jokes make themselves. Oh, you forgot your clubs? Don't worry about Schmidt. That's all I got. That's all I got. I know other movies that he's been in. You want my favorite golf tips? How to become a scratch golfer in 5 easy pieces. What if they made Happy Gilmore, but instead of Adam Sandler, it was Jack Nicholson? Why don't you get in your hole, ball? You don't like your home? Very menacing. Very, like an electric energy coming off of it. Okay, we haven't been to this part of the track in a bit. Skirt. Oh, you touched the wall. We're still going. Look at that, he touched the wall too. Just goes to show you, touching the wall, not that big of a deal when you aren't doing very well on the track to begin with. Great driving. There we go. We got off another 1.1 on a track where we hit the wall. I can't. So it's like 6 p.m. Being top 12 in BC or something at 6 p.m. is with a lap that trash. Just goes to show you how many people are not putting in an honest effort today. Which again, does it reflect on the track or does it reflect on the driver? I don't know. Must be a lot of millennials on the track like me. Oh, where's my participation gold? Well, there's something to be said about, like, hey, I don't play video games to be frustrated. If I wanted to be frustrated playing video games, I'd try to play Fall Guys at the launch window when the servers didn't work. Okay. That's sorry. Fall Guys came out with a free mid-season update today. I shouldn't be ragging on them. You know, you didn't touch the wall. Try to let it ride here. It's not like your old lap is perfect. Lost a lot of speed, but I think if we stayed low on that corner, we might be able to make it. I mean, we're mighty close to the gold, and the gold will at least give us a respectable... We got lucky there. The gold will at least give us a respectable ranking today for certain, which is embarrassing for me and for everybody involved. I do find myself weirdly compelled by the track, though. I'm trying to tease apart whether or not it's because my brain is putting out frustration chemicals, but the reviews on the Discord were positive. So as a result, I'm going like, wait a minute, what am I missing? Or is it because there actually is something something mercurial about this track? You know what I mean? Something a little bit more on the enigmatic side of like, what are they doing here and why is it working? Like when Usher says in Love in This Club, she's doing this on purpose. Why is it working? Like a damn, but it's something gonna be me and you. I don't know the lyrics. I've only seen the video where the like Shakey's Pizza animatronic band sings it. I would recommend it. I forget what the band's called. Something Explosion? Flavor Town Explosion? Okay, so honestly, you might take it as a negative, but I think that the fact that we are restarting more and more quickly in the early game is actually a positive sign that we're learning the lines that we respect and appreciate instead of settling for trash. Now, it might be a little bit presumptuous. Just holding there was good enough, because that's not been very consistent for me. Okay, I think if you do a better pre-turn there, you're going to be happy, but at least you didn't, you know, at least you didn't touch the wall. Our line is mega toast. Okay, try again. We're starting to get something. You're not going to believe me until you believe me. But when you see it, you're going to regret your words and your deeds. It's definitely a track. I'm throwing away too many laps just being like, oh, it's not perfect. We don't need to be perfect to beat my previous score. That's where a pre-turn there is going to save us so much time. Not getting airtime there is also enormous. That's where we touch the wall. Okay, so you got a real chance here for sure. Good driving, cut another half second off. Moved us up a little bit. All of a sudden, we're in the Canadian leaderboards. Despite having a pretty trash lap. Okay, so I got one hyphenated word in my head at all times right now. Pre-turn. See this? We gotta work on that one. That one's pretty shaky. Pre-turn. It's not this one. It's not this one. It's this one. Yeah! Look at that. Okay, so it might not have looked that good, but remember, we were behind leading into that. You could beat this. Oh, you could have beaten it. We're still pretty far away from the gold, quite frankly. But do I think that we have an easy interval to cut? I do. I don't know if it's the 2 and something seconds we need. But I think definitely it's going to require us to summon the ghost of Nicolas Cage. That's right, we're going to need to drive a little angrier. Nicolas Cage, by the way, now that I'm thinking about it, Nicolas Cage not dead. Don't need to summon his ghost. But we are going to need him to, at the very least, astral project. Great stuff. Again, that's where you'd be driving a little angrier, because that was a pretty poor performance. But now I'm driving angry because I'm actually just ticked off. Okay, you want to come over to the right side, Yeah, no airtime. No airtime. Around the horn. Probably like a second and a half down by the time we get to the bottom here. Really? I was going so fast I hit air. I mean, I know I'm good, but that's ridiculous. Okay, hold on. We're not that far behind. For hitting the wall, I mean, is there anything more demoralizing than that? You can hit the wall and then just keep going and be like, oh, I'm still, like, on pace. Or at least not heavily off pace. I don't think we're getting a slide out. I don't think we're turning long enough to get our slide. And again, that's kind of botched. There you go. There you go. Little anger drive. Little anger drive. Good centripetal motion. Stick to it. Oh, you... This is a pretty brutal track. I don't even mean brutal in the sense like, oh, it's like painful to play. It's just like very high skill floor for sure. I don't even think we've reached the skill floor, which I understand is not how you use that expression in good faith, but it is what it is. So I'm getting a little skeptical we're even gonna get the gold, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's all part of my new enlightened philosophy of not getting mad at video games. I think it's wise for us to just, you know, let your racing acumen show. If you got good racing acumen, let it fly, you know? I think this is one where stop worrying about the pence and let the pounds take care of themselves. Good stuff, good stuff. Then, no airtime. Actually decent slide, followed by no handling whatsoever through that. Your brain cannot take a quarter of a second off at any point throughout this track. I feel like this is the kind of track where if you grind it for 2 hours, it becomes your favorite track in like the Trackmania track of the day history. I'm not suggesting that that's exclusively Stockholm Syndrome, but I think that might have something to do with it. I'll admit, I am smooth-brained. I'm easily manipulated in this sense by video games. I would much prefer, and this is not the start of like a salt deluge, I promise you that. It's hard to get salty when you're sitting on silver, I think, because it's like, you know, you need expectations plus disappointment in order to get to salt. If you're just at disappointment, you're not salty, you're just kind of like, oh, okay, see how it is. But, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I would rather have like a 4 out of 10 track that gives you a reasonable author medal, than like a 9 out of 10 track that, you know, is like trying to listen to like, you know, My Bloody Valentine for the first time, where you're like, I just can't really seem to get into it. And they're like, eventually it's gonna hit. Eventually you're gonna be like, yo, Kevin Shields and Brenda Blythe, they've done it again with their pterodactyl noises on the guitar. So here, I got a new philosophy for myself. Don't sweat the slide so much early on here. Instead of sliding, just try to take the corners in like the way you would do it if you were playing Forza, you know? It's hard because they're all 90 degrees, but just try to take the corners as if it's Forza, you know? So wait until you get to the apex, accelerate through the apex, and don't try to put so much power slide sauce on it. This one, you know, you want to take it a little later than expected. Okay, sorry. You know where this topic of conversation leads. Where it leads is recognizing that the occasional track, every once in a while, my desires and a track of the day's desires overlap completely. This is clearly one where I'm like, look, I should have known coming into this, and I guess in a way I did. You got TM in your name. I know we're gonna have words when it comes to this track, because this is like, it's very simple. All you need to know how to do is no slide, FS, full slide, skid slide. You gotta do the occasional icy countersteer pre-turn, but these are all basic things that if you watched the undergraduate degree course in Trackmania that's available on YouTube that everybody has to watch in order to gain access to the forums, you would know. And I actually love that Trackmania has a great degree of accessibility while also having some, you know, interesting kind of techniques to learn. However, I'm also like, I haven't done that. So then people go like, well, why don't you do that? And I'm like, well, I'm not really that kind of like guy. Like, I would rather just like drive or leave. Now, drive or leave, how's it working out so far? I mean, it's not working out that badly. And again, I stand by the idea that we're gonna get heavy PBs in our future. I'm not even saying the gold is an inevitability. That lost us some time. I think that's me. It's me. I'm still beating me. Okay, that's a new PB, but we're not happy with it. But we're gonna keep trying for at least a little bit here. But you know, yesterday's track was just like not really necessarily that great of a track, but was also like pretty much a straight dopamine shot right to the cerebral cortex. You're like, oh, I got a green medal. Today's is like, oh, you liked yesterday's, huh? Oh, you like physics? You like making a volcano for the science fair? All right, well, make the chiral form of benzene. And you're like, I'm in 6th grade. And oh, I thought you liked science. You don't know how to do cold fusion? Maybe that's a little far. Okay, this is where I lost a lot of time. This is where I'm gaining a lot of time. Great stuff. Another half second comes off the top. You know what? Give me new opponents here. Give me new opponents. I'm ready. We need a. Is it really 43 to get the gold medal? That's like. It's not easy. Although we did just cut a half second off without even really meaning to. But we are also 26 minutes in. We might have to settle for silver today, and I'll level with you. I'd sleep easily at night. I'd sleep easily at night knowing that we took a silver today. It's one of those things where I'm like, you know, taking a silver to preserve your Trackmania mojo for the future might be the gentleman's choice. That's a good drive angry, sir. Drive angry, what is the... I'm telling you. I don't know, I honestly also think I'm getting used to the PS4 controller for driving purposes. The handling, I'm not going to say it feels bad, but it feels different. It's a great line. Immediately squandered. It definitely feels different. Like, it does feel like, instead of having, like, 4 directions to point, I mean, that's not really, you know what I mean. Instead of that, I almost feel like I'm using, like, a trackball. Which doesn't really make any sense. I've never said it about any other controller in the past. But I find myself on some of the turns being like, I don't have the sauce that I need, so I'm actually like pulling the analog stick. Like if I want to turn hard left, I'm not just pushing it to the left, I'm also pulling it like back a little bit. I'm not sure if that's hindering me. Certainly doesn't feel like it should make sense. I'll give you that. I mean, people are playing Trackmania on keyboard. So, I don't know if the analog movement is really that helpful. Some of the best players are on keyboard. In fact, I think maybe most of the best players are on keyboard. Of which I am not one. And I'll just be honest with you. I think there's a lot of games the keyboard and mouse are substantially better for. But for ergonomic purposes, I think the controller is like where it's at. And that's... At this stage of my gamer life cycle, that's what I'm much more concerned about. That hurt. That hurt, but I mean, there's still so much time to pull. Like, I think we gained a little time there. We gained a lot of time there. Keep it moving. This is really good stuff. You lost it. You lost it for sure. You lost it for certain. It's just a very, very, like, big brain map. Like, this is the map. You know what this is like? This is like when you meet someone in high school and you ask them what their favorite movie is. High school is a weird age for that. You're going to get a lot of people who are like, you know, Anchorman. And you're going to get a lot of people who are like, you know, some foreign film from Croatia. This is the foreign film from Croatia, okay? which is not a bad thing. That's okay. I'm not sweating it. It wasn't going to be a gold anyway, but we learned something. Now, the hard part for me is that I was probably the guy saying the foreign film from Croatia. So I'm trying to get myself to the level where I'm like, hey, this is my track. You see the way he took that corner? That was wild. Now, I can't name a single film from Croatia. I apologize. But as a Canadian, if someone was into a foreign film from, like, you know, Korea, I'd be like, yeah, of course, everyone loves Parasite and Memories of a Murder and The Handmaiden and Old Boy and, you know, Train to Busan and etc., etc. But if they were like, oh, I love this Croatian film, I would be like, all right, we have a scholar or someone with an intellectual chip on their shoulder. Just because they're less well known, for sure. Okay, that part of the course, not perfectly sorted, but not bad. I'm like, the fact that you're taking that corner so smoothly, it's kind of like witchcraft to me. I see how you do it. I'm just not sure. Based on the fact that these ghosts are not that good, I'm not that sure if that's what we're aiming to do full stop, but can't deny it seems to be doing good work for you. Good stuff, good stuff. Now hold. Want to minimize that airtime in the future. We did cross 5:56. We crossed like quite a good bit faster. We're going to keep grinding a little bit with opponents from Canada. Nobody in our cohort is at gold yet. So you know what? I think I got one more PB in me. I definitely think we could get the gold today. I got some other recording to do. The reason we're a little later here is, you know, Unity was today. Not just trying to, like, you know, rip you off or anything. Like, I hate that corner. So, you know, as we come to the end of the Trackmania video today, I would say, like, I'm a little surprised the Discord hit this with, like, 10s and 8s. But I also feel like as Trackmania goes on, the people that are most likely to vote are the people that are into the technical Trackmania side of things. Those people also, it seems to me like this makes sense for why it would be one of your favorite tracks. I understand, by the way, it's like the Rock Band philosophy, you know? When you get good at Rock Band, you're like, I don't want to play these crappy, you know, easy level courses anymore, easy level tracks anymore. Songs, I guess. I want to play, you know, like Battery by Metallica and feel the lactic acid buildup. Yeah, but when you have your friends over, they're like, that's cool, but I want to sing My Sharona. Okay, fine. Actually, that's a bad... Pardon me, it's a bad example. A little banana burp there. Because of the fact that My Sharona is actually fun on every single instrument. It has 2 great guitar solos. It's 2 great guitar solos. It's not bad on the drums. It's got kind of like a classic... I mean, all the instruments mirror each other, which is kind of nice as well. You get a nice, like, synchronicity there. But the guitar solos... Oh, man. I know I've talked about it so much I've actually, like, inverted it, but the My Sharona guitar solos are, like, the most underrated guitar solos in rock and roll, in my opinion. People think because it's like a mainstream kind of pop rock song, it doesn't go hard. You're very incorrect. I guess another way that I would describe this is like, if you got like a beer drinker's palate or a wine drinker's palate, you look at this course, if you're a Trackmania expert, through that lens, you know? Oh, look at this element and subtle hints of this and yada yada. But to everybody else, you know, they might just be like, you know, my favorite beer is like Bud Light with lime or something, you know? They haven't built up the time to get the skills and the know-how required to really, you know, resonate with all the unique flavors that are happening here. So instead, you know, like I enjoy IPAs. If I ever have somebody like, you know, hey, what should I get? And I'm like, oh, you should get this. And they drink it. They're like, it tastes like, you know, pine needles. And I'm like, yeah. subtle hints of Citra hops, though. Still going. You know, you gotta know your audience. This is one, and I don't begrudge the game for it whatsoever, but this is one where I'm like, definitely, this is the Snob's track. Lost it a little. No airtime. This one's not making it. This, and I don't know, maybe I'm misjudging it, but to me, this, and as a snob, I feel like, even though I'm not a Trackmania snob, I understand snob psychology. I'm not asking for all tracks to be dumbed down to a Bud Light with lime level. I'm just saying, I'm happy to sample this one, but if you're giving me the choice of what to order, I'm getting the easy author medal. The Bud Light lime, green and gold. Because this is like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm happy, and I've said it many times before, but I'll say it again because we're coming to the end here. I'm happy Trackmania is a game that's got some accessibility for the driving noobs, and also, you know, a high skill cap for the people that actually care about that stuff. The only thing I'm concerned about, and the irony on this track, is that it's not happening. And what I mean by that is, well, you'll see in a second, but like, I hate when the gulf between the starting player and where the bulk of the community is at stretches like so far apart that there's no space for the former anymore. However, I don't think that's the case here, because honestly, like, we're ranked really well. But I also do think that the medals on the track are tuned too hard. That's my pseudo-objective feedback. When I find myself being, like, you know, top 75 in Canada late in the video, and we're still, like, pretty decently far away from the gold, I'm like, okay, guess what? You beat us. The author, you know, they know what they're doing here. I think we might even just send it one more time. It's like, the gold is not even coming close. I honestly, I'll level with you. I would augment the recording notes for today's track. I would say, because it says gold is author, author is big brain. I honestly think silver is author on this track. Or sorry, silver is gold on this track. Gold is author. And the author is like, just get it, go pro. But stop posting about how, like, oh, the author's not that hard. You know, I've been playing Trackmania for 2,500 hours in my life, and I've been playing the new Trackmania for, you know, 500 hours. And I grinded this track for 8 hours, and I think it, you know, hey, you know, that's fine. You have the opinion of the enthusiast. I'm out here trying to have the opinion of the everyman. Sometimes the everyman will say dumb stuff like all beer tastes the same. It doesn't. And if you're like, it does. It doesn't. But you're kind of strengthening my point, because I'm like, you know, this track is the kind of one where I'm like, it's not for me. I would give it like a 6. And I say this all the time again, but I respect the technical acumen required to create this track. The actual level of Pog in my bloodstream, pretty low. But I don't think it's, I think it's one of those ones where you need to, you would Pog up for this track if you're a Trackmania enthusiast who has put in the time, which I have not done as much as, I mean, I guess I've put in, you know, 70 hours, but that's only enough to make me whiny for the most part. All right, so we're gonna give this like one more college try. But you know, well made. I don't deny that. There we go. Better line. This corner, I'll just tell you, we never really got this one figured out. Oh my god. And this is for real, the last one. Again, part of Trackmania is about preserving the desire to play some Trackmania tomorrow. It's a long-term play. I mean, any game with a daily challenge has variants like this. Again, not suggesting, oh, the track's bad. Sometimes, and by the way, I understand there's a little hypocrisy here, but sometimes people are like, I feel bad for the track creator with some of the stuff that you said today. I'm like, there's irony there, because people do not feel bad for the stuff they write about the video creator, like, at all. Hold on. We might give this one more just because we were, like, right in there. But, like, I hedge my bets on every single track. Occasionally I'll make an offhanded, like, well, you must hate fun if you made this. That's, like, a joke. Whenever I'm talking about actually, like, critical stuff, I always try to build in, like, you know, respect for the author of the track. That doesn't mean, like, I'm devoid of criticism, but I'm never like, oh, if you made this, like, thanks for wasting my time. Like, that's what I make fun of other YouTubers for doing constantly, is being, like, so out of touch when it comes to stuff like that. Now, that was a good approach there. So I do feel gaslit. Again, not to say I haven't said a couple of things I wouldn't say necessarily out of line, but, you know, within the context of humor. Now, there we go. Now, you know the scary thing? We were 0.017 away from the gold there. It takes a lot of strength to walk away. We could be here for another 25 minutes trying to grind that, and I think it would be worse for me than it would be good for me. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. I mean, when you're top 4 in BC, and you don't even get the gold, that's hard. We're even top 75 in the egg card, which is pretty good. But for now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!